Abide with me, fast falls the even.
Hi, this is Pastor Jim Taylor from the Haven Baptist Church in sunny Kunsan in South Korea. And this is what we all look like right now. We're all running around with masks on, suffering, sucking and breathing, and wondering where we're going to get our next breath. And it's not much fun. And it's not much fun because we're having a problem with a teeny tiny little bitty bug that none of us can even see. Well, as a result of that, the government has decided to put forth a vaccine, several vaccines. So we've got, we've got Johnson's One Shot Wonder, we've got Pfizer, we've got AstraZeneca, which that's what they have over here in Korea. I know you guys don't have that in the States. I don't think you do anyway. And what's the other one? What am I? Oh, Moderna, right? Moderna, which Moderna actually had everything pretty much all figured out and developed even before the pandemic got outside of China. Weird, right? Anyway, so I was asked a question about vaccines and whether or not Christians ought to get vaccines, or whether or not, or should we obey the government and stuff. So I put together some thoughts on this and some notes on this to just kind of address the issue. First of all, there are a number of different thoughts and ideas on it. You know, you'll find some people who believe that vaccines are harmful in general. They're called anti-vaxxers. I don't know if that is a derogatory term to them or not. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but some people think that it's dangerous and so they don't want to get it. Other people think that vaccines are generally safe, but this one was not properly vetted. You know, they put it out there way too fast. That's generally what they're saying, and as a result, they don't trust it. Some people don't like the idea of getting a vaccine, but they'll go along with the program because without the vaccine, then they can't travel. There are companies now that require you to get the vaccine, and if you don't get the vaccine, then you can't work. All right. And then some people, they have no problem with it. It's like, okay, there's a pandemic, there's a vaccine, give me a shot, boom, and they're done, right? And they'll get it without any qualms. Anything I say is not going to change your mind. Depending upon your position as a believer, you have to look at the scriptures and decide for yourself what you're going to do with this and how you're going to approach it. Are vaccines harmful? Well, there's always a few problems with vaccines. There's always a few people that have an allergic reaction or whatever to every vaccine. Doesn't matter whether it's COVID-19's or anybody else's, even the flu vaccine. It happens, okay? It's sad, but it happens. The data, however, suggests that the vaccines are not harmful. And right now, some of you might be thinking, "Well, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. You're part of the conspiracy." I'm not part of a conspiracy. I don't have the vaccine. I'm thinking I don't really want to get the vaccine. I've got my own reasons why. But from the data that I read, it's not harmful. Okay. So if you believe that they are, if you believe that vaccines are harmful, then you have to believe that there's some sort of conspiracy going on, or they're lying to you, and you're going to need a motive. What's the reason behind doing this? Why would they do that? Why are they trying to coerce us all into getting a vaccine? So, having said all of that, let me say this: we say it's not harmful, but we don't have any long-term data. We haven't had enough time to have long-term data. They're just beginning to start studying the effects of the vaccine that people got initially, the earlier ones, and they're beginning to look at how that's had an effect on all of them. So at this point, short term, okay, it's not harmful, except for a few, who get sick, and some people, I understand a few people have even died from it. And that happens with just about every vaccine. But except for that, we don't have any data. We don't know what the long-term effect is going to be, all right? We can only go with the information given to us. And, normally it takes several years to develop a vaccine. But what they did in this case is President Trump put it on a fast track. Normally what they would do in testing a vaccine, they would do step 1, and then if it passed, then step 2. If it passed, then step 3. And they would do that chronologically. But because of this fast track thing, they were doing several steps at the same time. If you didn't have to pass, say, step 17 before you did step 18, they would just go ahead and do step 18. And they ran all the tests as fast as they could, many of them at the same time, in order to get this thing out, in order to get the FDA to put their stamp of approval on it, so they could use it. Also, they began manufacturing. I mean, these companies make money off of this stuff. They're making money, okay? You say, well, there it is. There's a motive. Money, money, money. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I don't know. I'm not even going to get into all that. But this is what I know. I know that these companies began manufacturing this stuff pretty quickly because they trusted that they were going to get approval. And so they were going to put this vaccine out, and so they were going to have it ready as fast as possible. Unless they've got an inside man who's telling them, yeah, you're definitely going to get approval, they're kind of taking a financial risk at that. A financial risk, by the way, that totaled into the millions of dollars. So that's something to think about. Now, here's a thought that I'm not sure that I've not read this anywhere. I've not heard of this anywhere. I'm not going to say that I'm the only guy that ever had this thought, but here's the deal. Many governments around the world have government medicine. They have social medicine programs, Korea included. And I'm not going to go into whether or not that's good or bad, or if it's socialist, or if it's Marxist, or if it's communist, or what. Let's just lay that aside. We can discuss that at some other time. But they have these programs. Of course, if they're going to be paying for your medical benefits, they're going to be making rules about what you should be doing and not doing in order to stay healthy. So if they know that they're going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to treat you if you get COVID-19, of course they're going to mandate that you get the shot. All right? That's just common sense. But where we messed up was not giving them the authority to tell us whether or not we should get a shot. We messed up years ago when we gave them the authority to handle our medical program. Okay? You may argue with me about that. Please do. I'd love to see some of the comments on that. But we can talk about social medicine at another time. But I've said a whole lot just so that I can throw at you one principle. And that principle is Romans 13, 1 and 2. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Now the Bible mandates that we obey our government. It's that simple, all right? But there are times when we don't. If they ask us to do something that's unbiblical, we don't. And I would venture to say that if they ask you to do something that would put your family's life in danger, or endangerment to your children, that you are required by God, especially as the man of the house, to protect your family. So the thing is, it's hard to make that decision right now because we don't have enough data to see the long-term effects. That's my thing, all right? I'm going to wait as long as possible. I want to know. I want to know what this thing's. It's going to make me grow another hand on my forehead someday. I'm being, a little bit humorous, I hope. But the reality is, I want to wait as long as possible. I want to see more long-term data before I make that decision. Does it work? Sure, it works. We've got the data to show that it works, but the long-term effects, we don't know that yet. There are those who are complaining about the possibility of not being able to travel or shop because people are demanding to see a vaccine. All I can say is make your decision. I live in Korea. I want to go back and see my kids. I want to see my grandkids. Now, I realize that I'm going to need to get the vaccine in order to make all of that happen. You have to know that I am weighing those issues out. All right? You have to know that. Of course, anybody would. What decision am I going to make? I don't know. Right now, I can't even get the shot, even if I wanted to. So I've got time to pray about it. I've got time to think about it. I would just say this: if you don't like that, do something about it. Write your congressman. Vote the Democrats out of office, or whatever it is you feel you need to do, short of violence or bloodshed or breaking laws. I'm not saying do that. But everything you can do as an American citizen, you should do to have your voice. Otherwise, just get the shot, and then you can go, travel abroad or whatever it is you want to do. Understand the Bible said things are going to get difficult for us in the last times, and they are. There are some people on the internet, and I just want to end with a couple of quick things. I've read that there are some people on the internet that are holding magnets to their arm and saying, see, the magnet sticks. There's, quantum microdots inside this shot, and it's going to control you, or it's the mark of the beast, and all of this stuff. I've got plenty of friends. I've got lots of military friends that many of them have gotten a shot. I assure you, magnets do not stick to them, okay? Family members I know, they've gotten a shot. Magnets do not stick to them. That is just bunk, okay? I don't know if magnets could stick to a quantum microdot anyway, but frankly, I don't believe that there are quantum microdots in it. There are others that say, well, it's the mark of the beast. It's, you can't buy or sell without it. It's the mark of the beast. No. Every shot that I've ever seen administered has either gone in this arm or this arm, but it's never gone in the right hand or the forehead. It's not the mark of the beast. It might be practice for, the mark of the beast or whatever. I've got another video that I'll be putting out on that in a little bit called The Mark of the Beast, and I recommend that you see that and become smart on that. So I want to end it with this, with the whole vaccine thing. This is definitely one of those areas where you're just going to have to pray about it, decide what you believe the vaccine really is, look at the scriptures, and come to a conclusion for yourself. And if you make a different decision than somebody else, and don't be one of those jerks that hates your brother over a vaccine, okay? I'll just say that, and I'll leave it with that. So with that, I hope that the Lord finds you walking in the reality of His presence this week. God bless you, and have a great day.